Now, speaking of the nation's health, a newly proposed tax plan and aid package is looking to finally lower the costs of fresh produce here in Israel. The prices of fruit and vegetables alone being currently as much as 80% higher on average than in other Western nations. But here with the exciting details is economic consumer behavior expert and assistant professor Vili Abraham. Vili, thanks so much for being with us, of course. Now, what exactly are the details of the plan? Let's start that.
Yeah, so we're talking about a new tax plan. Should it be approved, it will be part of the economic package. It'll be part of the budget of 2021, 2022. It includes cutting of custom duties, opening the sector to competition, which we really, really need this badly. If you look over the past summer, prices of fruits and vegetables were very, very high. Prohibitively high, in some cases $10 per kilo or even $30 per kilo if you look at cherries. Aid package and support to Israeli farmers, easing of regulation according to European standards. And the bottom line is that Israeli consumers will be saving all in all about $825 million a year, which, if you consider that there are 2.1 million families in Israel and you do the math, it's about $392 a year, which is more or less 100 shekels a month, which could make a big difference to many families.
Absolutely. So now, this figure of $820 million a year, is that a conservative estimate? Could it be much more than that? Or is that kind of a cap?
It looks like this is the cap right now, because when you're talking about a tax plan, then the finance ministry has to sit down and see how much this money will cost the government or how much money it will save. So this is what it looks like. I don't think it's a maximum or minimum. This is more or less the money that we'll be saving.
All right, so is this enough to offset some of the inflation and the costs that have resulted as a consequence of the coronavirus?
Yeah, well, because there will be more competition, the more competition, the lower the prices will be. It means that we'll be able to see more fruits and vegetables that are being imported because of lower customs. So the more the competition, the better to us Israelis, and we need competition not only in the fresh produce sector, but in many other sectors, because we really are overpaying if you compare to other OECD countries and to the Western world in general.
So what... Or rather, what's standing in the way of this deal? What's still prohibiting it from advancing forward?
All right, so first of all, this has to be approved and it has to be balanced with the possible incomes in 21, 22, because this means that this costs the economy money. We're going to be losing 2.7 billion shekels. But on the other hand, the government is proposing taxes on other things, which probably will balance out the possible loss due to the support of farmers and reducing of customs. For example, if you look at taxing sugared or sweetened beverages, which is also on the table now.
Yeah, so that's actually my next question. I understand that there is a talk of a so-called sugar tax that we've seen in many other countries in the world as a separate plan. Can you tell us more about that and how that factors also in the national deficits as we discussed?
Yeah, so the reason behind this is that because there is a CBS or the Center for the Bureau of Statistics, Israeli Bureau of Statistics. According to the report, there are over 28% of the population, a third, that is overweight, and it's increasing. And we have more and more people who are obese, and this is having a major impact on the economy. So the sugar tax will be in line with what other countries in Europe are doing, in the United States. The sugar tax will be on a rate of between 1 shekel 60 and 2 shekel 89, based on the quantity of sugar and the bottle size. Smaller bottles, paradoxically, will bear a higher tax
as a percent
to ease the burden on our larger families that buy in bulk. And it also depends on the sugar. So if we're talking about a beverage that has more than 5 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters, the tax will be 2 shekels 89 for bottles that are smaller than 1 liter. And if it's between 1 liter and 2 liters, it'll be 221. And if it's a larger bottle, 2 liters or more, it'll be 2 shekels and 18.
Which could be, that could be quite a bit. That could amount to quite a bit of money, especially, I mean, we have We have a lot of people who drink soda, and it is expensive. I know firsthand.
And surprisingly, Aaron, even beverages that are diet, right? They're considered to be like zero,
Mhm.
etc. They're also be taxed. So it's not only the ones that have sugar, but also those that have other alternatives to
Sure.
sugar,
All right.
like sweeteners. Yeah,
All right. Well, you've given us a lot to think about here. Thank you so much, Billy Abraham.
it was a pleasure.